So, good afternoon, colleagues and friends. I'm very happy to address you here at Davos. What is it that we all need to live a healthy life? What is it that we need to survive, actually? Well, we need to breathe. We need air, oxygen. We need clean air. And what is one of our biggest challenges for the future that we are all concerned about, especially this year, 2015? Climate change, global warming. So I'm here today to speak to you about the Climate and Clean Air Coalition, heading up the Secretariat, hosted by the United Nations Environment Programme in Paris. So the Climate and Clean Air Coalition is the first global effort to address what we refer to as short-lived climate pollutants. These are pollutants that live in the atmosphere for about a few days, a week, up to 2 decades. They are harmful to health, they impact on crops and ecosystems, and they are highly climate forcing. We talk about black carbon, which is a big component of what we refer to as particulate matters, a consequence of incomplete combustion. We talk about methane, which is also a precursor to the very detrimental air pollutant of tropospheric ozone, or turned into urban smog. And we talk about hydrofluorocarbons, HFCs, an important ingredient in refrigeration and cooling, air conditioning, etc. These are also often referred to as the super pollutants, impacting health, crops, climate. In the Climate and Clean Air Coalition, we work with governments, NGOs, intergovernmental organizations such as the World Health Organization, who is also here, and with businesses and private sector entities. We work in a coalition to catalyze and promote very concrete transformational actions, implementing measures at the source of the pollution that I just referred to. So to address black carbon, we work in the transport sector, working on cleaner diesel, avoidance of heavy-duty diesel engines that are very polluting. We work on cooking and heating devices, improved fuels and cook stoves per se, working on avoiding open burning from agriculture and municipal solid waste, and other sources of black carbon on incomplete combustion. On methane, we work on issues such as municipal solid waste again, to separate biodegradables and to work in a holistic way of reducing, reusing and recycling waste to control these emissions. And we also work on in agricultural sector on methane emissions from enteric fermentation and livestock manure management. We work on improved paddy rice cultivation through a system of alternative wetting and drying in paddy rice, which is a huge contributor also to methane. And we work with the oil and gas industry in avoiding leaking and venting from the upstream and downstream production lines of methane gas. To actually capture the gas and not releasing it into the atmosphere is a huge contribution to avoiding global warming. So why do we do this? Well, I spoke about the benefits. This is really an issue of fast action, quick results and multiple benefits. By working on these pollutants, we have immediate results at the location of and close to the polluting source, because they are short-lived in the atmosphere. They're also immediately bringing clean air benefits. We also do this for health purposes, and looking at the impact on health from particularly the ozone, the tropospheric ozone and the particulate matters and black carbon. This is really detrimental in many ways and contribute to premature death of up to 3 million, altogether 7 million. You probably will hear this from WHO and Dr. Maria Neira altogether, but reducing the pollution from black carbon and ozone could contribute to more than 3 million premature deaths avoided per year. So if we avoid 3 million premature deaths per year, sum it up for 10 years, we are talking about 30 million people in a period of 10 years from preventable factors such as indoor and outdoor air pollution. There is no time to wait, it's time to act. It's also looking at the climate perspective. If we take a series of identified countermeasures in the transport sector, in the oil and gas sector, on waste, etc., as I mentioned, scientists have modeled and identified 16 to 17 critical measures, cost-effective and with available technology, that could, in the next 20 years, reduce the emissions from black carbon up to 80% and methane release up to 40%, which would contribute to avoiding global warming to up to 0.5 degree over the next 20 years, by 2050 actually, by 2050. This might sound little to you, but looking at this graph, you may see that by 2050, by taking an integral approach of aggressive CO2 carbon dioxide mitigation, which is of course the #1 priority when it comes to mitigating climate change, but equally important in the short term, and to delay, to really not to delay the mitigation effects, we also need to take aggressive action on these short-lived climate pollutants. And by 2050 we could decrease the warming with 0.5%, taking action on methane and black carbon, and another 0.1 to avoid increase of the use of hydrofluorocarbons in cooling, and use alternatives, low warming alternatives. And that means actually by 2050 almost halving the global warming over those couple of years. And this can help us to avoid coming to the tipping point where climate change is the chain of events escalates to so fast that it's impossible to return to a previous condition. So multiple benefits from these actions: investing in cleaner energy for vehicle and better combustion in vehicles, in the cooking and heating domestic sector, even kerosene lamps, replacing kerosene lamps with cleaner or renewable energy sources, working on oil and gas methane release, working on methane release in agriculture and in the waste sector can have all these multiple benefits. So what do we do to address this? Catalyzing action, working with governments and the private sector, businesses and financial institutions to address legal instruments, practices and also financial options to draw from existing internal sources of countries, but also in the international financial system, to be able to finance this type of action at country level, and also to provide innovative solutions to entrepreneurial and business. We are working with a number of alliances in this field, and I would like to make a call to all of you here to look into the many benefits that these kind of measures could bring to your specific field. And one of our objectives as a coalition is also to lever and enhance the knowledge and science in these fields over time. And for that purpose, many of you in this room might want to join us in this scientific endeavor as well. We have a big presence coming forward towards the climate conference, the COP21 in Paris in December, not to in any ways diminish and change the agreements of addressing aggressively the CO2 reductions, but as a complement and an action-oriented agenda that will bring healthier communities, healthier people and a healthier planet to all of us. We launched a campaign with the World Health Organization about breathing life, breathe life, and this is your campaign, and have a very excellent conference moving forward, and we will continue working with you. Thank you very much.